Devils Wednesday. Oh boy, we're in the middle of another preseason game. I'm loving it. I am your host, Sam Wu, here with Nick Villano of Pucks and Pitchforks blog, editor-in-chief, State of the Fan. Address, episode 22, titled New Era in Devils Hockey. Boy, I'm starting to like the new era going on in preseason right now, Nick. I know you're grooving to the intro music. Do you play that intro music in your car, just ready to just burst out and just start podcasting? Because sometimes that happens to me when that comes up in my car. Sometimes our playlist comes up, some things that we do for the podcast. I'm like, welcome back, this and that. Anyway, sorry, that's just a podcaster thing.
Well, technically, Sam, because the flagship show has returned, I did hear it in my car this week because I am podcast only in my car, and I heard the three of you, and I heard my birthday shout out, and I wanted to say thank you for that. That made me feel a little extra special on my way too old to be a podcaster birthday.
Well, you know what, Nick? I'm glad that you told me that. You know why? It was my little test to see if you're actually watching and listening to the other podcast. Now that you got this podcast, and I know the guys, Beer Baron and Shorts Guy, I know they listen and watch this podcast and this and that. So, but we're kind of, I don't know, are we cousin shows? Or are we?
No, we're sister shows. We have all the same genes. We're just different people.
Yes. So,
cousins would be like.
I'm getting distracted by text messages because I'm sorry. I have to interrupt. I know we have a show rundown and this and that, but everybody is just going crazy at that Maltsev goal. Let's start off with that. I mean, you told me about it. I looked at the highlight because I was in the middle of driving. You can't really describe it other than it was just sweet of a sweep.
All right, so what it reminded me of is if anybody out there plays, now NHL 20, the NHL EA Sports video games, it's what happens when you get tripped up, but the EA Sports video game still lets you make a shot from your knees, and sometimes you score a goal and you feel like the greatest video game player of all time. Except Mikhail Maltsev did that in a real hockey game. He skated through two Rangers, got tripped up, jumped back. He did like a pop-up back on his skates and shot it past Georgiev for the Devils' second goal, and it was gorgeous. It was probably one of the better goals we've seen. I'm thinking of last year, of some of the great goals from last year. There was that one sequence where Sami Vatanen knocked the puck out of the net, and then Taylor Hall, there was a 2-on-1 the other way. Kyle Palmieri passed the puck to himself, and then he passed it over to Hall, who scored the goal. That was a great goal, but that was a big sequence. The goal itself wasn't the prettiest part of that. This was just we'll call Maltsev going juggernaut on this entire thing, skating through two people, get knocked down, jump it back up, throw it in the net. That goal was insane, Sam. I don't think you're going to see a better goal in the first month of the season, maybe in the entire NHL.
This kind of reminds me of, I know I'm going to another sport, the anticipation of Jeremy Shockey in his first game, and he runs over a few people on his, I don't know, maybe his first catch or second catch in preseason. I haven't felt that kind of excitement in preseason, in a long time. And Nick, I mean, I spent the last two podcasts that I've done bashing people for that prospect tournament, going crazy that the Devils are down 6-0 and just think that the whole freaking season is on it. But at the same time, I'd be a hypocrite if I'm not really excited about this team in preseason kicking the Rangers' butt right now. And Corey Schneider, he has something to prove, man. and he's playing pretty well. And after that hip injury, it takes time to heal. And I'm just hoping for the best that we see the old Corey, the Corey that we know that has a goals against average around 2 or less with a save percentage of like 930, and now he starts to put wins in the win column.
I think those are pretty optimal numbers, Sam. That's like Vezina numbers there. I think if we could get him around 2.35 on the goals against average and somewhere, I mean, I'd be happy with 0.915. My best case scenario is 0.925. But that was what he was doing when he was at his very best for the Devils. Obviously, he's got a much better defense now. He's got a much better offense to keep, repetitive shots against them away from him. But tonight, Sam, he looked as good as I've ever seen him. He saved the Devils on numerous occasions. At one point, the Rangers had 10 shots on the power play. Now, if you look at the Devils roster, none of their regular penalty kill people are on there. No Andy Green, no Blake Coleman, no Travis Zajac, no Pavel Zacha, so all the guys that, no PK Subban, all the guys that are going to be on the penalty kill aren't there. So he's getting peppered with shots when the Rangers have the man advantage. But he's stopping most of them. He's out of the game now. So, he's got to find a line, but he had an over 900 save percentage. It's probably a little bit better than that, probably around 915. One of the goals was his fault. He got it out of the net and he misplayed a puck and it just went right in front of the net. But I feel like in a regular season game, he wouldn't be that lackadaisical with it. So I'm just kind of like blaming that on like he's tired in the preseason and not trying to, stretch too far. But his side-to-side motion has been insane. His agility has looked really well. His agility looks like the year he came to the Devils. He looks that agile. He looks that swift and that svelte. And he's just doing things that I haven't seen in a really long time and things that I didn't think any goalie his age could do. Like, I don't think he's doing things tonight that I didn't think players like Jonathan Quick or the King, Henrik Lundqvist could do at their age. So I am so optimistic about it. And I know it's based off one night, but he had a decent first game. He wasn't great, but, he gave the Devils a chance to win. But, in this game, he's literally the reason why they're winning.
Yeah. Again, these are all positive signs, but it's still preseason, right? I mean, Jack Hughes is not even in the lineup. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, no Jack Hughes. You know what they're doing. The Rangers and Devils probably have some kind of agreement or like a handshake situation where, Capo Caco will play tonight in front of the Rangers fans. Hughes will play Friday night in front of the Devils fans, and then they'll be able to play, make the big money ticket times when it's regular season time. And that's when we'll see the first Devils Rangers matchup. We did just get a Devils goal. So, good for the Devils. Looks like it was Brett Cini. But anyway, we're not going to do play-by-play. I just saw that nice little play there.
Oh, no. That is newsworthy reporting as it's going along. Play-by-play is you're like, City's got the bucket. No. I'll talk to you off fair, but it's very interesting, this intellectual property law. It's actually legal in every state except for one, and it's actually New York that you can't do that. Oh. So unless you can geofence New York, you can actually do that. But I'm going by 5 years ago what a lawyer told me. Anyway, you don't get legal advice from Sam Wu. All you do is get, my opinion about the Devils
advice.
Yeah.
Oh, but no, instead he poked it in the 5-hole. So it was a pretty goal. It was, it was off a rebound. I want to see Senny's a guy who got, I believe he got like 40 games last year, and not a soul is talking about him making this team. Like nobody. And it kind of reminds me of if you remember 2 years ago when Brian Gibbons is a guy that Sam excuse me, it was my first year at Pucks and Pitchforks, right? And I wrote a scathing piece on Brian Gibbons. I said he doesn't deserve to be in the NHL at all, let alone on a Devils team that needs to prove itself. And then somewhere around December, I wrote an apology letter to Brian Gibbons on the site because I was 100% wrong. And maybe Sendy could be that guy. Sendy's he's a chipster. He's a little bulldog. He gets in those hard areas. He's small. So that's the problem here. He doesn't have the size that, if you were going to see a surprise player make this team, like say it wasn't Jesper Boquist and they picked one of the guys that's going to Binghamton, I think people would want it to be Bastian. Although Mikey McLeod has made a really large stink to make it himself. So there's a lot of people who are fighting for these positions, and you could really tell in these games that these players on the bubble are really fighting tooth and nail to be those last one or two players on the New Jersey Devils.
You know what? I want to comment here that you wrote this apology. I remember actually reading it. And I thought to myself, I love it when people in the media owe up to their predictions, where you trash one guy and then you're not like Skip Bayless or the other guy, Stephen A. Smith?
Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah. They're all going this and that. And, and Skip Bayless like, I told you Tim Tebow is going to be great. And it's like, the guy was like, I don't know, 2 for 15, but he had one lucky throw and one lucky run. And suddenly, the Broncos win. And suddenly you think you're a genius, this and that. It's, but, or the Daniel Jones thing. I'm sure that, he could be proving a lot of people wrong. But I like the fact that you owe up to it. And I hope I get to go on a podcast and apologize to Mikey McLeod, because I've been trashing him since day one because of the whole Beer Baron thing. But you know what? If he makes the team and he matures and he grows up and he lives up to his potential, guess what? You're owed an apology. It's part of sports. And I think, and it's, I just see a lot of these pundits. They always change the subject and they never go back. And sometimes I wish I could go back in time and like read off some quotes, but like, yeah, you said that this guy sucked, and the guy's like, leading the league. Or there's actually a Martin Brodeur card, okay, and it was rated the Martin Brodeur rookie card, and it was rated projections of this Martin Brodeur as a rookie by John Davidson. He gave Martin Brodeur the lowest score in stick handling. I have this hockey card. Stick handling was like a number 2 or number 3, and that was his big weakness. So you never know. Now I don't know if an
but here's the thing, Sam,
or whatever. Yep.
Martin Brodeur is one of those people that, I mean, based on, we don't know him obviously, but like based on what we know, Martin is one of those people that would motivate him. He would get, because the Bowman and Topps and all them send those cards to those players. And if he turned that around and said, my stick handling is what? You call that my weakness? I could see Brodeur going to the ice that day and then spending the next 100 days working on stick handling and then becoming the best stick handling goalie of all time. I could see him with his mindset and how focused he was on his craft and what he did to get better. I could see him doing something like that.
Well, it's funny you say that, because that whole thing of that wraparound, the Mato, trust me, Brodeur definitely worked on that the next 2 years. And I think that resulted in a Stanley Cup, because, that one save he just made with this paddle, Red Wing. Yeah, that save. And I you know what? For whatever reason, I just think that, he started to move laterally very well after that. And I think that propelled him to 3 cups, in 5 appearances as the goaltender of the New Jersey Devils. So, and David Decker says, I'm sorry. No, never say sorry. Congrats for doing your job. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, listen, I'm not saying sorry. I'm saying I was wrong. It's different. I'm not apologizing for writing the original article. I'm saying that I wrote something and clearly I did not know as much as someone else knew or whatever. At that time I was like, maybe there was a chemistry thing I didn't see at the time. But if I don't own up to saying, hey, I wrote this. I've written, Sam, I've written some burn pieces in my day. I actually wrote one about Daniel Jones when he got drafted. I was one of those people. I might have to apologize again. Luckily, I don't read a New York Giants blog. That was a one-off. But I wrote very mean pieces that night about the Raiders and the Giants. So, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe but Dave Gettleman made some weird decisions this entire offseason. So I don't know. Either way, we were getting very off topic. Back to this game.
Can I just add one more thing to that Dave Gettleman thing? I remember after they picked Daniel Jones, and I'm like, what the heck? I remember writing on Facebook, I was like, yeah, can we fire him before the 17th pick? Anyway, let's not get off topic. So, all right, so I'll let you start the show because I kind of went off topic right from the beginning.
Well, we talked about the Maltsev goal. The Maltsev goal is probably the biggest thing that happened out of tonight. Another thing that I want to talk about is Nikita Gusev looks good. Woo! Like, he looks ridiculous tonight. So he has a goal. He's playing on the top line with Nico and Jesper Boquist. He stayed later. I saw Boquist and I believe Nico get off the ice, but he stayed. He took a 2-on-1 pass from, I think it was Baddock. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was Baddock took 2-on pass, roofed it past Georgiev, and it was a really pretty goal, and that's exactly why you brought Gusev here. But here's the thing that really encouraged me, Sam, about Gusev's night, because we know Gusev could score goals. We know that he was brought here to finish, but the difference between Gusev and, say, Patrick Laine, who's a guy I was also pushing for, but I thought would cost a lot more. So Gusev could score goals, but earlier in the night, Gusev made a really bad play, gave the puck away in his own zone, right? Well, literally 3 seconds later, he stole the puck away from the Ranger and started a breakout. So he doesn't have that quit in him that some of these pure scorers, and I'm not saying Laine, that was just the first name that came in my head because he's been in the news. But either way, all these pure goal scorers who that is their main target, their main job, he is not he's not the kind of guy that's only focused on scoring goals. He made his mistake. He could have just sat back and just like kind of waited for somebody else to do something, but he was aggressive. He stole the puck back. He made a play. And on Monday when we were watching Gusev, he was doing that move that I told you I love when we got him. He did you think he's going to shoot and he passes, or you think he's going to pass and he shoots. He fakes you out one way, he goes the other way. He's so very good at that move. And I can't wait for him to use it on an NHL level.
Yeah. He was kind of the mystery, for me. I mean, we had that debate over the summer about, Gusev, what do we trade? And then when the trade actually did happen, we were all celebrating. I mean, we did two breaking news like podcasts, if you remember, one when it happened and then the recap at night, you and I. And, I mean, KHL, those numbers and, and what people were saying, it's just good to finally see it. I know it's preseason, but it's finally to see what he's capable of, and that he could be that thing that puts the Devils over the top where they're legitimate playoff contenders. It's just time will tell. It's too early to speculate, but so far it's like I've been very impressed with him. Very, very impressed with it. His mindset, his demeanor, his professionalism, like he's just going out there and playing and showing what he can do on the NHL level.
And honestly, I don't know if you remember, but when we did the previewing Gusev podcast, we had Mike Lucci on. And Lucci is our Pucks and Pitchfork writer who was against the Gusev trade. And Mike said tonight, it's like, maybe I was wrong about this Gusev guy. We're talking about owning up to our mistakes, but, that's just, when you've never seen a guy play in the NHL, I think his was more tempering down expectations rather than outright saying he's going to be a bad player. But again, when you could get a guy who was outright against bringing you on, and then you don't want to lose on those when you're a writer, Sam. You don't want to be wrong. So you almost, like I said, he wouldn't root against Gusev, but you don't want to have to two preseason games into this say, hey, I was wrong, but you got a fan in Lucci already.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, there have been a lot of players that, in sports that have changed people's minds. And I'm really glad what Ray Shero has done. This was all calculated. The off season before, after making the playoffs and finally winning a playoff game in 5, 6, 7 years, whatever, and not doing anything, and we're all like wanting to kill him, and you can't use that excuse. Well, there's nobody around. You got as a fan, you just want to say, do something. Ray stuck to his guns. And he waited patiently till the right people came along, drafted him, Jack Hughes. That was a little bit of luck. PK Subban, the trade for Gusev, and now we're all waiting for the whole Taylor Hall. Is he going to stay in New Jersey? This and that. But right now, Ray Shero has positioned it where if Taylor Hall leaves the New Jersey Devils, yeah, it will suck, but they still have a pretty good team back there that he's already built. And if Taylor Hall leaves, you got some of his cap money, where you could still use the cap as leverage on getting some of these rip-off deals that Ray has done. And on top of everything else, I mean, we did this on the Let's Go to O's podcast when I read out Ray's quote, with, F-bombs everywhere, and we used the censor button. It's almost like Ray's a Jersey guy at this point. Like, it's like almost like we all relate to him after that, especially after that quote. In Ray, we trust right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's definitely, Ray Shero has embodied himself, New Jersey Devils, and New Jersey everything. He feels like, I mean, you guys were talking about The Sopranos. I mean, he does feel like he's, at least like a secondary character in Goodfellas. He feels like he should be talking to Ray Liotta and be like a secondhand guy or something. Like he feels like that's why it feels right. Feels like he's one of those Italian dynamos. As a guy whose last name is Villain. And if you want to, or whose last name is Villano, and you want to go and look what that means in, other languages, I'll let you do that. But, I feel like he's just like a mob guy in the NHL, and it's great. And I don't want to downplay the mob because the mob is terrible, but you know what I mean? Like,
well, he has that Lou feel that we've known for so long. I mean, Lou pulled some stunts. I mean, there's this aura about him that he's strict, he's no nonsense, this and that. I mean, getting a restraining order in the 1988 Eastern Conference Finals, the whole Schoenfeld, the ref thing, going to his buddy in Bergen County, that judge, I mean, or throwing jelly on the wall down in Philly after losing a playoff game to the Flyers. I mean, there's a lot of legendary stories, and I think, Ray Shero is not living in Lou Lamoriello's shadow right now. This is his team, essentially.
Oh yeah,
and he takes full responsibility for it. And you know what? So far, these results, if he's going to, he's owed us up to it. We got to credit Ray Shero for putting this team together and being patient, and not listening to us whiny fans that just want him to do something. He knows what he's doing, and you just got to put your trust in Ray. And I mean, they basically ripped down everything, and culture-wise, and this and that. And that's part of the title of episode 22 of State of the Fan Address, is the new era in Devils hockey. Once the Devils drafted Jack Hughes, and I've said this many times, the whole mindset has changed. I mean, hell, as a fan, when they had the first overall pick, and I knew that they were going to draft Jack Hughes and the whole debate with Capo Caco, this and that. In the end, once they announced his name, it's like the dominoes just fell for Ray Shero. Like he's back and he has something to prove. And that team in the Metropolitan Division, the Penguins, yeah, it's starting to look pretty good right now. And how did the Penguins get to where they were? Well, in 2003, they were tanking it. Right, they had Marc-Andre Fleury as the first overall pick. Right, they had arena issues. What did they do? They had some gambling thing that they did where Grandma's slot arm machine was raising money for the arena down in Pittsburgh. No, I'm not kidding around here. There was something about casinos or whatever. I don't remember that. And this is after the team was bankrupt and owed money to the greatest player that ever lived. And he takes over as team president, comes out of retirement, this and that. I mean, it's a pretty remarkable story for the Pittsburgh Penguins. But the bottom line is, with Lou, he never rebuilt. He was always reloading. With Ray Shero, he basically tore it down, got the cap situation straightened out, and used it as leverage to rip off other teams. I mean, how gangsta is that? Ray Shero.
I mean, He does these things. But I'm gonna bring us back to Devils and Rangers real quick, just because I want to talk about this rivalry. I feel like the past couple of years, this rivalry has felt muted, and it felt like when it wasn't even 2012. So 2012, it hit another peak, right, with the Henrik It's Over. And then in 2014, when the Rangers made the Stanley Cup, I remember feeling that hate and like I was rooting for the Kings of all teams, the team that just beat us in the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
But then after that, fell flat for a while. We were kind of a weird team. We had Jaromir Jagr, Kovalchuk retired. There was a lot of things that we had to focus on within ourselves. There just wasn't a lot of good players. It was hard to watch. And then the Rangers had all these. I feel like the Rangers always have these young players that just don't ever really do anything great. Like they have these young players. It's like, look at how many great young players we have. And I think it's different now. I do think some of their players are going to be really, really good. But I think that back then, like they were just touting, like, look how great Mark Stahl. Mark Stahl was supposed to be like the greatest defenseman. He's fine. Matt Zuccarello turned into a good player. But he's good. I don't even know if he's a number one first-line player, and the list goes on. There's Jimmy Vesey was supposed to be great, and they traded him for nothing this offseason. Chris Kreider, when he first got into the league, they had me believing that he was going to be a great goal scorer. He's fine. I feel like that happens a lot with this current Rangers team. Personally, I think that between Kakko and Chittle, I think they have two really, really great players there. But I just feel like it's fallen flat because it's just these two teams have just been nothing. And with DeBoer left and Tortorella left, that animosity seemed to go with them. Those two coaches hated each other. Like I thought DeBoer and Tortorella were going to fight on the ice once. Remember they had that screaming match between the benches.
Oh yeah, the line brawl before the game started.
Yeah. So the Devils put out their goon line. And I think I think that there was just a lot of flatness to it the past 3 years. But then it feels different now, doesn't it, Sam? Doesn't it feel different?
It does. It does feel different. I saw Stacey White write, "Let's go de Blasio," and then she said Devils. I don't know if that was an auto correction, but I know that Bill de Blasio wants to knock down Madison Square Garden for that new train station. So I thought that's at first, before she corrected herself, I thought that's what she was talking about. Not to get into politics here, because I'll have to find out, because I used to make fun of all those Ranger fans 7 years ago about MSG being demolished for a train station. But I got to find out where that's at because I think there was, I guess, 10 more years. The Mayor Bloomberg did, and I haven't even kept track since then. So we should actually have a website with the time ticker when MSG is going to be blown up or something like that. But anyway,
I mean, they just did millions in renovations to that place. I don't know if they're blowing it up anytime soon.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to look that up. But again, it's not something I seriously look at. But hey, if they are going to demolish MSG, I like to have a Devil's party across the street and do a live podcast there, Nick. We'll have to fly you up, for that event.
Yeah, we do have to figure out. We have to figure out when we're going to do the live Pucks and Pitchforks Let's Go Devils podcast tag team live event, because you've been talking about these live events on your last podcast, and I'm feeling envious. I'm feeling very envious, Sam. So we gotta correlate that.
Is that a segue to advertise right now, or should I save that to the end? I wasn't sure.
You could do it now and at the end. You could do it now. And then we could transition to our next.
Yeah, I'll let me do it real quick. So for the home opener, I actually talked to the owners today. The Let's Go Devils podcast will be at PJ Ryan's, which is across the street from the Rock on Edison Place, 35 Edison Place. They're giving us the whole second level. I didn't even know that there was a second level to throw a season home opener pregame podcast. Invite all of our, friends, families, fans of the podcast over there on October 4th. And then on October 5th, the hashtag We Are the Fun Tour continues back to back when the Devils are on the road to Buffalo. We are going to be at the Grasshopper Off the Green in Morristown, New Jersey. And we brought two of our good buddies along, Bruce Driver and Grant Marshall. And on top of that, Nick, just to spice things up, because, we learned from last season, we brought on a DJ for our live events this upcoming season, DJ Shelley. She's really good. She's actually a VJ. She does video, this and that, and the whole streaming, this and that. And also we are going to preload her setup with the goal song we really like to chant to, other organ stuff from Pete, and maybe the chicken dance, all that fun stuff, that they kind of did away with and took some of the fun out. But anyway, it's all debatable. But yeah, so we're going to be at the Grasshopper Off the Green October 5th. When the Devils are on the road, Bruce Driver, Grant Marshall will be there. And October 4th, the home opener, we will be at PJ Ryan's second floor and also the third floor of Grasshoppers, all to us. Owners are excited. They're trying to help us promo it. Posters are going up around town. Anyway, that's my plug. I don't want to monopolize talking about rivalries against the Rangers and the new era. So why don't you start off the next topic?
Well, I want to kind of take just a 30,000-foot look at this Rangers Devils rivalry real quick and see where we're at now. So we wrote a piece on this. I wrote a piece on this. I got back into writing a little bit. I've been writing a little too much football lately, so I needed to get back into Devils writing. And I took a look at the Devils roster versus the Rangers roster, top to bottom, right? So, Sam, I'm not going to lie to you. I tried to take out my homerism as much as I possibly could, and I tried to try to do this as an analyst. And I tried to do that in a lot of things, but there's other things that I'm not as focused on that. But this one because I knew I was prone to say that the Rangers suck and were amazing. But, Sam, when you look at the depth of this Devils team, I feel like it blows the Rangers out of the water. So I'm just going to take one quick example. Look at the defense, right? So as I currently project it, the Devils' third line is going to be Andy Green and Ty Smith. So you got an aging veteran who still has some skills, who brings some things to the table. and then you have the rookie who's going to have some growing pains, but has a ton of skill himself, has all the upside in the world, can be a really good offensive defenseman, right? The Rangers' second line. That's my
your
third pairing for the Devils.
The old and the new.
Yes. Now, the Rangers' second pairing projected is Mark Stahl and Adam Fox. Mark Stahl and Adam Fox sounds a lot like Andy Green and Ty Smith to me. And that's their second pairing. So they don't have a guy. So they have a really good first pairing, like we have a really good first pairing. You know, they have Trouba and the other guys. I can't say his name. Brady Skjei. Someone help me, please. He's Skjei. However you say his name. I don't watch enough Rangers games. Apparently,
is it pronounced sucks?
maybe that's how it is.
Okay. Sorry.
But anyway, Brady Skjei. We'll just do that. That's their first line, and then our first line looks like it's going to be Sammy Vatanen and PK Subban. And then their third line is Viktor Kravtsov, and it's guys who aren't like. When I looked at it, I was like, "Why did you cut Kevin Shattenkirk?" Because like he'd be a good third pairing defenseman on this team. Like you didn't really have the defensive players to fill in those roles, so very confused about their defense. It's weird to think that the Devil, like we look at the Devils' defense, we're like, this is a strength over a rival. When we're talking about our defense, but our defense is pretty deep. I wouldn't say that it's one of the best in the league because there are teams that have top two line. Like if you look at the Flames, who have two lines of amazing defenders, we don't have that. We have one amazing defender, one good defender, two good defenders, two upside defenders, and then the aging veteran. So, I'm not saying we have like a top 10 defense even, but we definitely have a top 15 defense. And, we got a much better one than the Rangers. The places where I put the Rangers ahead of us was at the second line, just because I don't know what I'm getting out of Jesper Bratt, and that's who I had on the second line at this point. And then I put them ahead of us at goalie because, Lundqvist the year last year wasn't good, but neither was Schneider's. That was the first time in his career that Lundqvist had over a .300 goals against average, and that was the worst save percentage he had in his career. So I think he's more likely for a bounce back. I think the Devils at the end of the season could have the better goaltender duo, but it remains to be seen. But Sam, I got the Devils with the better top line. I have the Devils with the better offensive depth, better defense in general. I feel like this is just a better team.
Well, let me ask you this. What's the score right now of the game?
It was 4-3 empty net for the Rangers.
Okay. So, it's one of these things, and I see it in college football a lot. When you talk about rivalries, sometimes it just doesn't even matter how good you are or how bad you are. But when you play your rival and the hatred is there, it's a different type of game. Yeah, you have an advantage if you're having a great season and this and that, and you're playing your rival. But usually I find these games to be pretty even. They're pretty even. Rangers, when they had their problems between 97 and 2001, the Devils' unbeaten streak. There were a few ties in there. The Rangers weren't very good. They were loaded with money players, but they weren't bringing home bank in the win column. They still played the Devils tough, even when the Devils were, strong. So, with rivalries, sometimes in sports, it's kind of funny. It's like if you turn these scrubs, if you're having your team having a bad year and there's the scrubs are turning it on because they just want to have something to prove on any given game. Your rival could have the worst record in the NHL. They could take one from you. You have to take these games seriously. And the Devils players, and one of the things that I loved about Lou and the culture he brought, which really derived from Dr. McMullen, the original owner, they hated the Rangers. Absolutely hated the Rangers. I mean, Martin Brodeur put in his book, but I think it was Beyond the Crease, that he hates the Rangers. And I was a little scared, when Ray Shero came in, there was a trade, minor trade with the Rangers, I think at one point, with, I wouldn't say minor, it was for Grabner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for Grabner. I was kind of like, you don't trade with the enemy. I don't care if they give you their best player. You don't trade with the enemy.
Mean, the worst part about that, Sam, is we lost. That's probably the worst trade that Shero has made in his tenure with the Devils.
You know what I think it is? You know what I think? I think it was a Trojan horse, man. I think it was a Trojan horse what the Rangers did, because Grabner didn't do anything. I mean, yeah, he had some flashes of brilliance every once in a while, but
it wasn't even brilliance. He had flashes of average.
I'm trying to be nice, okay? But
I told you I wasn't nice. I will be mean and then apologize later.
Yeah, Matt says Devils win 4-3. Whoa,
they did. They won 4-3. Yeah, so it's big. But I mean, it's a big game for the Devils. I don't care that it's preseason. It feels different. I'm watching this Gusev goal over and over again too, and he does. Him and PK have a very similar celly. They both celebrate kind of like the bow and arrow. Like it looks kind of similar. So I think that they're gonna have to do some Carolina Hurricanes, dueling celebrations. I think that they're gonna have to find a way. So if anybody knows PK out there, I feel like everybody knows PK. So if any of y'all have his cell phone number, let him know we need some dueling cellies with him and Gusev.
Yeah. That's I like PK's energy, and it was nice to see. I forgot. I don't know if it was Amanda Stein or I forgot who reported it, that he brings a lot of energy to practice, and to me, this is Devils hockey. This is paying attention to details when no one else is looking. You got to practice the way you play. And John Hines is loving all of it. The intensity he brings just to practice. So, and you know what? That's what's going to make you a winner. You practice the way you play, and if you're going to practice to win, then you're going to win a lot of games. In the NHL. So it's good to hear. I mean, that's the kind of leadership. I mean, Bryce Salvador, he was a great leader. I think Andy Green is a pretty good, leader. Quiet. A lot of these guys are quiet, but you lead by example. And I think Scott Stevens led by example. Just the way he played.
Yeah.
He was soft-spoken. He wasn't always shouting at his teammates. He had to speak up when he had to, right? And Scott Stevens, when he started his career with the Washington Capitals, he was a total hothead. Getting into fights. He was an offensive defenseman, but he was tough on defense, open ice hits, always getting in fights. The time he got to Jacques Lemaire, that's when things changed, and the whole demeanor changed. It was about staying focused and winning. And, there's a lot of talent on this Devils team, but it should be really interesting to see how the coaching, because they've been there for a while now, there's definitely stability. This is not Lou, firing a coach and then having a coach by committee, of assistants to run the team. There's John Hines has been there for a while. He's on the hot seat right now, but it should be very interesting to see, what kind of leadership PK Subban's going to provide. Even Gusev. I mean, he's not a rookie. He's a 27-year-old rookie technically, but he has some experience in the KHL, and a lot of the young kids are maturing, this and that, and how is Taylor Hall going to lead this team? You know, by example, by results on the ice. What about off the ice? I'm just kind of seeing how all this meshes together because if you remember, I know Felony Strutter of YouTube, all the people on YouTube kind of hate me, but they all say I don't know anything in prior to 2000. But if you remember before that, 93, 94 season, Herb Brooks was running the team before Lemaire. That team was in disarray. I mean, everybody hated each other. Claude Lemieux, who knew he was going to be back, this and that until Lemaire brought structure and started teaching. I mean, even Ken Danico said, and according to Matt Loughlin, he learned more in preseason than his entire career under Jacques Lemaire in that 93-94 season. Actually, it wasn't Matt Loughlin. It was Doc Emmerich that said it in one of the interviews. So, it should be interesting because the talent's there. I'm just so interested to see how this all meshes and how they gel as a team and the chemistry. Is it for real? Because on paper right now, everything you said, Nick, holds true, but you got to look at the scoreboard. And I think today, even though it's preseason, that's a somewhat of an indicator of a good sign that this team is, hungry to win.
Oh, I agree. I think this team is hungry. I think this team, it's all how it meshes, and so far, Sam, it looks like it's meshing beautifully. I thought there was going to be some bumps in the road. And if you look at that schedule, Sam, it's a lot of home games in October. That's a lot of time to practice and then go home to your own bed, spend some time with your family. That's a lot less time that you have to complain. So I think that this has the makings of something really good, Sam. I don't want to get our hopes up, but it's set up. Why don't we do the game next, Sam? And then we'll do we'll talk about the goal song after because we're almost to a goal song. So why don't we do the game next? I got a really fun game, and the last time I had a fun game, we were having issues, and we're not having issues tonight. So let's do the game. You ready for the game?
Yeah. No, knock on wood. Anyway, here I'll put your graphic up, and I'll get Kevin Whaen on. So why don't you go at it?
Yeah, we're gonna. So Kevin is one of our new-ish writers over at Pucks and Pitchforks. As you've seen, we had a little bit of growth over the summer with Pucks and Pitchforks blog. So we have a lot of new I don't know what voices. We have a lot of new voices, a lot of new opinions, and I love it. He's one of the guys. He's a very interesting opinions guy. But what the game we're going to play tonight is the newlywed game. So I haven't even told Sam this yet, and he's playing the game. I haven't told Kevin this yet, and he's playing the game. So you guys are first to hear of this. Excuse me. So what I did is I took 4 of the newest Devils: Jack Hughes, Jesper Boquist, PK Subban, and Nikita Gusev. I found fun facts about these guys, and I'm going to let Sam and Kevin guess whose fact, or I'll going to give them multiple choice of their fun facts. Now that I look at it, I really wish that I did better on PK Subban because I probably could have got better facts for PK because I was finding good ones for Jesper, Nikita, and Hughes. But what are you going to do? We're going to play the game. Game's going to be fun. Let's see if there's anything in the comment section. Heinz said the energy that he brings to the locker room is awesome. That's from Matt. Matt, I think you're talking about Subban, and I can't agree with you more. It just seems like this guy is just like embracing this team. It seems like this team is embracing him too. So there's just a lot of really good things going on with this Devils team. Richard said Schneider looked promising. That's 100% true. Schneider looked he looked amazing tonight. He looked like a top goalie. Again, I don't want to get my hopes up because it's one game. It's a preseason game. It's a half split. It's a split squad. So there's a lot of reasons why I don't want to jump to any conclusions. But this is, this Devils team looked really good tonight. Just up and down. I'm trying to catch up with these comments, but we were talking all over the place. So Hayden with 5 hits, 3 blocks. Yeah, I'm everything I'm seeing that Hayden played really well towards the end there. Looks like John Hayden's fighting for that spot. It's another person we didn't even bring up. He's a guy that got traded 1-for-1 for John Quenville. So he's an interesting name, Sam. John Hayden, I heard, made a bunch of blocks right at the end of the game to save the win for them.
Hey, that's great. That's great. Sorry, I'm just I got Kevin on the Bobby's Auto Care hotline. Should we play this game? I'm just getting anxious.
Yeah, let's play the game.
I'm on a 1-game losing streak right now, maybe 2. I don't know. We were having technical problems early a couple of weeks earlier, but on the Bobby's Auto Care hotline, we have Kevin Whaen of the Pucks and Pitchforks. He's a contributor. Kevin, are you ready to take on the Woo tonight?
Ready as I'll ever be, Woo.
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. That was I don't know what to do with that. That's Kevin, you didn't give me a lot to work with there.
Come on, I'm ready. Fire it at me. We'll see what we can do with it.
Okay, so here's the game. All right, Sam. I was telling the viewers, Sam doesn't even know what the game is, right? Sam, you don't know what the game is.
I actually don't even read your show rundowns, so I have no idea what even the show is. The podcast. No, I'm just kidding. No, I did look at it, but no, I don't know what the game is actually.
Sam skips the production meetings.
It's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine. Now you know who the muscle is. It's fine. But anyway, the game we're playing tonight is called the Newlywed Game. Now, are you folks familiar with the Newlywed Game in real life?
Yeah, I've seen it from time to time.
Yeah.
Okay. So how we're going to do the Newlywed Game is I took 4 of the newest New Jersey Devils. And in the regular Newlywed Game, you have to guess fun facts about your spouse. So we're going to pretend that you're married to these spouses. And I'm going to give you multiple choice questions about fun facts about these 4 players. Simple enough, right?
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. So, Kevin, I'm going to let you go first. You have your choice between PK Subban, Jesper Boquist, Nikita Gusev, and Jack Hughes.
I will go with Jack Hughes.
Good choice. All right. So there's 3 questions each. First question. This is probably the easiest question on the entire list. So Jack Hughes spent a lot of his summer playing a sport that wasn't hockey. He said he spends a lot of time playing with his friends. He's been doing it since he was a kid, according to Jack Hughes. Was Jack Hughes' other favorite sport golf, baseball, or swimming?
Golf.
Is that your final answer?
It is.
Well, you got it right. You got one right, Kevin. You know your spouse, Jack Hughes. Second question. If Jack Hughes could go to any concert, who would he go to? Would he go to Ariana Grande? Would he go to Aerosmith? Or would he go to Luke Bryan?
I really hope this is an Ariana Grande. I'm going to go Luke Bryan.
Oh, you are 2 for 2. You must really know your Jack Hughes. Are you? We'll go past that. If Jack Hughes, Jack Hughes gave us his favorite home cooked meal. Is his favorite home cooked meal chicken pot pie, fish and chips, or steak and rice?
Chicken pot pie.
Ooh.
Damn.
His favorite home cooked meal is steak and rice. But 2 for 3. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Hey, Nick, just so you're aware, Nick, you don't have to make these sound bites, I actually had my finger on the trigger.
Oh.
Nice.
Just to make it feel extra worse.
Yes.
All right, Sam. So your remaining players are PK Subban, Jesper Boquist, and Nikita Gusev.
I'll go with PK.
Okay. PK Subban. PK Subban grew up in Canada, but his parents moved from 2 different Caribbean islands. His mom came from the Leeward Islands, which we would have never guessed in a million years. But his dad came from a more popular island. Did his father come from Haiti, the Dominican Republic, or Jamaica?
See, I'm going to raise my hands up because I'm not Googling. I'm going to say Jamaica.
You sir correct. One down.
Well, hold on a sec. Let me play my victory music.
Sam, this is 1 of 3. At least get them all right before you do the rest. Okay.
Okay.
So when PK Subban was traded to the New Jersey Devils, we all know that he one of the funniest things that he did was he looked at his hat and he said, "I need some Devils gear." His hat had a saying on it. Did the saying on his hat say A, be the best, B, change the game, or C, I have issues?
I think it was a Red Bull hat, but change the game.
You're correct. 2 for 2, Sam.
Oh, can I play my victory music, or is it just too premature?
You gotta wait. Too premature.
Here,
you gotta wait. You're only tied with Kevin.
Okay.
So now your third question about PK Subban. When PK Subban was in Montreal, there was one restaurant that he would reportedly go to every day. He went there so much that they made a half-moon table next to the owner just for him. What kind of restaurant was that? Was that a poutine restaurant? Was that a Italian restaurant? Or was that a sushi restaurant?
I'm stuck between poutine and Italian. I was about to say poutine restaurant without even knowing the answer, so I'll go with that. A poutine restaurant.
It's actually a sushi restaurant.
It's
called Park. It's called Park. It just left my head. Okay, so we'll move on. So you guys are tied 2-2. All right, Kevin, you're the guest. You have your choice between Nikita.
I will take Nikita Gusev.
I think, yeah. Can you hear me, Kevin? I think Nick's audio just dropped.
You can probably hear me now. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah,
was it did your thing get unplugged? Nope.
Hello? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. All right, why don't we just keep going, Nick? I'll message you if there's any problems.
Okay. So who are you going to choose, Kevin, between Jesper Boquist and Nikita Gusev?
I'll go with the Goose.
The Goose. All right. So in a Russian article, a Russian interview, they asked Nikita Gusev if he gambled while he was in Vegas. He said he gambled one time and played one game. What was the one game that Nikita Gusev played while he was in Vegas? Did he play blackjack, poker, or roulette?
I'll go with roulette.
That is incorrect. He played one night of blackjack, and for the record, he says that he won. So good for Gusev. Got a little extra money from that Vegas contract. Now, when he was playing with Nikita Kucherov, when they were children over in Russia, they both played on the same team. What was the Arctic animal mascot of that team? Was it the penguins, the seals, or the polar bears?
Let's go with the seals.
Ooh, Kevin, 0 for 2. Him and Nikita Kucherov played for the polar bears.
You know, I was going to say polar bears. It seemed too easy, but all right.
So when Nikita Kucherov was on the Golden Knights team, he said there was one specific player that he spent most of his time talking to. It was either Marc-Andre Fleury, Mark Stone, or Eric Haula.
Let's go with Haula.
That is correct. Now thinking back in it, I picked 2 superstars and then some random scrub. But just so you know, he said that he talked to Eric Haula because Eric Haula was injured. So he had plenty of time to talk to him while the other players were setting up for their playoff race. So that was kind of interesting. So you got 1 right there. Sam, you need 2 to win, 1 to tie. Are you ready for Jesper Boquist?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm getting nervous.
Jesper Boquist says if he could play any other sport that was not hockey, he says he could play this. Was it curling? Was it football? Or was it soccer?
Isn't football and soccer the same thing to Jesper?
We are in America.
I know. I'm just kidding around. Curling.
Incorrect. Soccer is the correct answer. I feel like every hockey player in the world thinks they can play soccer, though. So that's kind of weird.
Yeah. Okay. So the pressure's on, right?
Yeah. You need to get these next 2 right to win. Sam, can he do it? Okay. When Jesper Boquist came to the New Jersey Devils, he said he was given his least favorite nickname. Was that nickname Bo, Jess, or Young Boquist?
I don't even know. But I got a 33.33% chance of figuring that out. What was the last one?
Young Boquist.
I'll pick that one.
Incorrect.
Oh. The pressure's on. Now I need this to tie, right? Before we go to sudden death?
You need this to tie.
Okay.
When asked, now this is going to be a real newlywed type question, although nothing about hanky panky. When asked what his least favorite chore was around the house, did Jesper Boquist say his least favorite chore was doing the laundry, doing the dishes, or cleaning the bathroom?
You know, I don't even know anything about this guy, but I know I don't like doing the toilet. So I'll pick that.
You don't. It's actually doing the laundry, Sam. Sam, you blew it. You had it in the palm of your hands. You had it.
I am the winner.
And now we have a new champion, Kevin Whaen, Pucks and Pitchforks contributor.
Sorry, I just blew everyone's ears off. Sorry about that.
Happy to be here, guys. Happy to be here.
I had a tiebreaker question ready. So I'm just going to ask it real quick. This isn't a new guy. This is Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall in the GQ article once said, if he was going to cheat, he was going to have this one food item. Well, 2. and I was going to let you guys guess it. But instead of making you guys guess, I'm just going to tell you that Taylor Hall does not like chocolate or ice cream. If he's going to cheat, he's going to eat pizza or a cheeseburger. I feel like it was always cheeseburger, and then it became pizza when he moved to New Jersey.
Probably, yeah. They can't have good pizza in Edmonton.
Oh God! Oh my God! On that note, Kevin, we're gonna thank you for coming on. Sorry about the slight technical difficulties in the middle there, but we powered through it.
We sure did, man. We sure did. Well, happy to play the game. Happy to be a winner. Sorry to beat you, Sam.
Oh, don't be so sorry. I didn't know anything about Jesper. All I know is he better score some goals and make the team.
Well, we'll have plenty of time to learn about him this year.
All right, great. Well, thank you, Kevin.
All right, guys, thanks for having me. All right.
That is Kevin Whaen on the Bobby's Auto Care hotline. Bobby's Auto Care, 2151 Route 57, beautiful downtown Washington, New Jersey, in the heart of Warren County. Go to Bobby's Auto Care, $10 off all the new customers if you mention Sam Wu. That's all you have to do is be a new customer and mention Sam Wu, and you get $10 off your bill. You know what? I honestly didn't even know. Like, I could have done something with that PK and the sushi, but I just was like, oh no, this and that, and I just got, I was probably getting confused with Amanda Stein or something like that. I don't know, Montreal.
Yeah, another Montreal person. Yeah. I thought you had it. I thought you could have gotten one of the. I thought you were going to get soccer because all the hockey players love soccer. They play beforehand. I thought you had them.
You know what? Let me sound like a sore loser before we close this episode 22. This happened the last couple times when we do these games. Suddenly the feeds drop out. I'm more worried about keeping the feeds up than answering these questions. I think somebody's trying to do something to the podcast and trying to rig it. I bet you it's all those YouTube Live folks that hate me. Facebook Live, they love me. Facebook Live, they absolutely love me. YouTube Live,
who knew we would go to Facebook for positivity?
I know.
The Facebook people are great.
I know, but with YouTube Live, it's always you know what? That's weird. Something's not right. I was just playing a soundbite and it just didn't play through. All right. Well, anyway.
Either way, real quick, I just want to know, what is your opinion on the final two goal songs, the Hip Hop Hooray and Howl?
Let's put it this way. I never really liked Howl, but I like Gaslight Anthem. Hip Hop Hooray. I don't know. I mean, it's a great song. I like it for a goal song, but there are some political aspects to it that I don't like because Taylor Hall wanted us to vote for it. Now, when you're going to contract negotiations, if I was Taylor Hall, I'd be like, hey, I'm an influencer on social media as well as a great hockey player. I need another $2 million on my contract, and I'll get these. If I can influence the fans to pick Hip Hop Hooray, well, I can influence the fans to buy more Devil's goodies with my name on it. So pay up, Ray. I'm just afraid that may happen.
Money, Sam. Money, Sam. Give money, Sam.
Yeah. But, no, I do like Hip Hop Hooray. I was hoping that they would do a song with the woo in it. But maybe there's just too much wooing going around. So maybe they're taking a different direction. I like other songs as well. But yeah, I mean, I'm okay with Hip Hop Hooray. I mean, do I have to take my devil's cap and, put it to the side here and then just start, celebrating like this? Maybe I should wear some baggy pants like we did in the early 90s.
Let's get some Jenko jeans. Can I get a wallet with a chain on it?
Yeah. Why not?
All right, I'm down.
Yeah.
All right, Sam. Well, I'm with you. I kind of want Hip Hop Hooray because I think that would be interesting.
Yeah, I think that.
And you know what?
Yeah.
Fidelitas. I would have bumped to a Taylor Swift song. I don't even care if we did. Blank Space. Yeah, I would have bumped to that for every goal. That's right. Honestly, whatever they pick, we're gonna bump to it. We're gonna figure it out.
Oh yeah, and once the Devils fans get the new song and they get on a roll and they find out the Caitlin's do it, somehow it's gonna be "You Suck." It's gonna be in any kind of song. I mean, Howell's already got it because it's been a goal song for a couple years, but Hip Hop Hooray, Devils fans will figure it out. It's just inevitable. That's just the way it is.
All right, Sam. I think we hit up everything. Big Devils win tonight.
Yeah, Big Devils win. We got Gusev, Maltsev. I feel like I'm malt liquor right now after that goal.
That goal gives me life. I'm not going to sleep tonight, Sam, because I'm going to watch it 100,000 times.
Oh, I know.
I'm probably going to write a piece just on that goal. That's what I'm going to do after this. I'm going to write a piece on that goal.
Yeah, real quick. I posted this out on the Let's Go Devils podcast platforms. You had one of your writers write about getting blocked by the Raiders Twitter account. That's hilarious.
You know me, Sam. I go all kinds of places on that blog. That thing is not just news and analysis. We have a little fun too.
Oh, of course. Just like on the podcast, So do you want to? Do you have anything more? I read your text.
Later this week. Oh no, I was just gonna quickly plug the things we have coming to the block. So my yearly article that I do on the 5 players that I think can win awards is going to come out later this week. Probably Friday, you're going to have the article that's the 5 Devils who could break records this year, and it's going to be surprisingly easy, Sam. So It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be fun week on the website.
Oh, that's great. All right, I'll be looking forward to it. You can visit Pucks and Pitchforks blog. You can find them at Pitchfork Puck. You can find them on Facebook. Are you guys on Instagram?
Nah.
Oh, okay.
I'm too old for that, Sam.
Okay, gotcha. But also, let's do some last-second plugging. Just remember, all you Devils fans going to the home opener, you'll see the Let's Go Devils podcast at PJ Ryan's at The Rock, across the street from Prudential Center, hosting a live pregame podcast. And that's on October 4th and October 5th. Oh, yeah. Bruce Driver, Grant Marshall, come watch the game. Devils versus Buffalo, starting at 5 p.m. Eastern on October 5th, Saturday night. DJ Shelley will also be there, spinning some tunes. The hashtag, We Are the Fun Tour. Yeah, I'm definitely going. So, great podcast. The new era in Devils hockey looks good. Till next time, Devils fans, let's go Devils.